going on, everybody? Welcome to another Modern Caveman Monday with the Thrive Tribe at the Thrive in Life podcast. How's everybody doing tonight?
Well, doing well. How are you?
That's like the most awkward, like, I'm doing well. Come on, like, we can act a little bit more enthusiastic.
I'm
but do we
totally
want to, though, is the
enthusiastic.
question.
It doesn't
Like,
matter what you want to. The audience wants
how
us to
enthused
be
are
more
we?
enthusiastic.
How
I'm
enthused
doing
are we, actually?
wonderful. Thank you for asking.
That's what I'm talking about right there, CMA. Opportunity to make this the best life lived.
You know what happened? It's because I didn't hear D say his what it do, baby boo.
Yeah, somebody dropped the ball on that one.
You know what it is? I don't want to tie myself with, we're rolling.
Oh, man, maybe I should just replace you then. Chris, where you at? Chris FM?
Irreplaceable, okay? Listen, me and Chris
That's
FM are going to start our own podcast.
Desiree said that you are
FM.
a unique talent. You know what they say when people say that you're unique? They say that you're special in some type of way. They just try to, that's the same thing. That's a bless your heart.
Aw,
that's the Texas
heart.
bless your heart. Bless your heart.
Such a jerk. Well, ladies and gentlemen, you can see that we are in a mood today. We are ready to get these shenanigans out of our systems. So really, like, how's everything? Like, what's going on? Like, how are you feeling?
I'm feeling great. Everything phenomenal.
Okay.
I'm happy. I can say that I'm happy. Like right now, I'm in a state of euphoria, and I'm loving every minute of it.
Love it. What about you, baby boo?
You're gonna say something. Gosh, life is good. Life is really good. I'm on cloud 9. I've been pushed to the limits, like beyond belief. Like this whole last week, I really was tested, but I was too happy with things that are going on, and things have been really good. So I try to breeze right through it. So I'm feeling really good, blessed, definitely blessed.
Love it. Yeah, I think the same thing for me. Like, I'm coming off of the vacation. Like, I don't know if you ever had like a really good vacation, and then like you're no longer on that vacation. You start feeling that dip, like, like everything just feels off. So that's
like
kind of where I'm at.
The back to reality feel.
And I think we talked about it before about not like having a life that you don't have to go on vacation from. Like if you think about like vacations, you think about it is an escape from reality. And like it's like hitting me now, like, man, I would love to create that life where it's that you don't have to take a vacation from. Like your life is the vacation. It's the thrill. Everything that you experience, you wake up with a thrill in your heart. I think that's like the ultimate goal of life. So like that's what I'm feeling right now, like that downward turn. And I'm like, you know what? Like I had to remind myself, I'm like, I have to appreciate what I have today. Like I woke up in the morning. There's a lot, that's obviously going on, like coming back into reality. You got to go back to work. You got to do you got to set your schedule up for all kinds of things. Life gets busy. It's easy to kind of fall back into that, monotony of, damn, like I'm back in reality. But, I think about what we often talk about, which is I get to wake up. I don't have to wake up. I get to wake up. I don't have to do the things that I do. I get the chance to do the things that I do. And I think that's like, it's such an important thing to remind myself about, especially in this process that we're on, because it's real easy to just get you know, distracted.
Mm.
I mean, have you felt that at any point?
Yeah, definitely. I feel like I get so used to a routine, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing all the things, like, I'm going in order, getting ready for work, getting the kids ready for school, and it just becomes almost robotic, and I have to change it up sometimes to not to get out of the routine, but to remind myself, like, this is yes, this is life, but this is not all life's going to be.
Mm-hmm.
So, sometimes I'll take the long road home and I'll roll down the windows and make the kids point out stuff like my grandpa used to do when I was a kid driving around. Or, sometimes I won't make breakfast and we'll drive through somewhere, and it's like the best day ever when the kids get breakfast from wherever. Um, or even at
Mm-hmm.
lunch, I see, like, my coworkers are kind of like just kind of like robots and kind of moping around, like, hey, what's for lunch? Oh, I brought my lunch. Well, guess what? We're not eating it. We're gonna eat that for dinner. So let's go get some fresh air. And it's just, you've got to change it up. You've got to be grateful for the things that you can do. Some things are out of your control, but you still have to be grateful because it's all leading somewhere. You gotta just
Mm-hmm.
appreciate even the littlest things.
I think that's important. It's an important thing to realize and notice and recognize that, right? When you do what you love, it doesn't feel like work,
Mm-hmm.
right? And that's the best part about everything that we do on a regular basis. This doesn't feel like work. This
Mm-hmm.
feels like, we're just friends kind of growing and shooting the shit most of the time. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and we're doing something important. We're doing something powerful and impactful for so many people. And I would never take that away. I'm just in a state, like I said before, I'm in a state of euphoria because, like, I know at the end of the day, I'm doing what I love to do. I'm doing what I'm enjoying more than anything,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm doing it with the people that I enjoy being around and doing it with. Right. So this doesn't feel like work. And much like Christina, like whenever I feel like, all right, this is so mundane. This is like, I'm just over the same thing day in, day out. Sometimes I'll just take a left turn or a right turn and then I'll take a long way to work. You
Mm-hmm.
know, I might get there maybe a few minutes later or a minute or so later, or whatever the case may be. But breaking it up in that way for me is a game changer because I get a different piece of scenery. I get to see a different part of the city that I don't normally see. You
Mm-hmm.
know, and sometimes you interact with people. Like if you go through, like, say, I don't drink Starbucks very often. We have a bunch of like little drive-through coffee shops here, so whenever I go through any one of them, I'll get a coffee or something like that, and then you start to get to talk to the baristas and the people taking your order and stuff like that. And it's just you get different perspectives of life.
Mm-hmm.
And there's something important about being up early and talking to baristas because you could tell, like, they're so drained. They're like, this, I don't want to be here. A lot of them are like, I need coffee, but I can't get coffee because I'm working. Like, it's
Mm-hmm.
it's a struggle for them, right? But getting their perspective and getting to see who they are and how they deal with and how they cope with things, that gives me a little bit of a boost because I feel a lot better about the way that I handle situation. You know,
Right.
so I mean, it's up in the air, really, and I really enjoy that feeling. I really enjoy the feeling of seeing different things and exploring and looking at things from in a different light. I think those are really important, because it feeds ultimately what I love to do.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's so powerfully said. Have you ever done this? So
No.
I drove down. Let me finish. All right. I drove down to Florida this couple weeks ago, and I drove back. And there comes a point in the drive where everybody's asleep, and it's just me, myself, and I, and all my wonderful thoughts, right?
Oh,
And
that's scary.
yeah, well, for me, it's very scary.
Mhm.
But there comes even a point in that time where you don't have enough thoughts to like waste the time, on that drive. So you just start looking around and everything. And there came a point in the drive, and like the sun was kind of coming up, and I'm driving, and I've drained all my thoughts. Everybody's sleeping in the car, and now I'm just trying to get to where I'm trying to go to, you know? And I'm like, when am I gonna get there? When am I gonna get there? Looking at the time, I'm like, start getting antsy. And then I start looking. The sun was like just peeking up. I think we were in South or North Carolina. No, it was South Carolina. And I never noticed this. And I've done this drive many times. But I start seeing the morning dew on the side of the road. And I'm like, is it foggy? What is that? But it's like beautifully placed on each side. I'm like, God is doing something, right? And I just started noticing the most simplest things. It's just the morning dew on the side of the road as I'm driving down. And I'm like, never noticed that before. Never noticed how pretty that looks. How amazing that morning dew has like towards with the entire ecosystem, like the contribution it actually has on the ecosystem and everything, and how that just that morning dew just contributes to the overall lifestyle of everybody who lives there and the animals and everything. And I just started appreciating the moment, and I just thought about how many times do we just drive by something, and we do it so many times, and we just often just forget to just look. And I mean, CMA says it all the time. Stop. Just stop and smell the roses. And we're so hyper focused on our goals. We're so hyper focused on getting to where we want to be that we forget about the little victories along the way, the little beauties that make it worth the trip. Like, do you guys ever came to that like kind of conclusion or anything like that in your own life?
You know, it's funny that you say that, like, because I do. I always say that, like, stop and smell the roses, look up at the sky. Have you ever like, you're on your way to somewhere and maybe like you're stuck in traffic, or maybe like, you're in a store and somebody needs a price check, and you're just so frustrated because life stops for a second.
Mm-hmm.
And you're looking around, and those times for me have been such like great appreciative moments, because one, it's allowing me to slow down my brain, and I'm looking around, and it gives me and the kids a chance to talk, or if I have like a friend in the car, like we actually have a conversation, and we're not just like hustling and bustling. But I found in those moments where we kind of slow down, don't get frustrated, soak it in, smell the smells around you, look at the colors that are around you, look at the old lady in front of you that's just trying to save a couple of bucks. Look at what she's wearing, look at the color of her purse, imagine the life that she's been through, all in that one moment, and it kind of just changes your perspective on life. And that
Mm-hmm.
that runs so deep, just in those few words that I said. And it's like, really, like, you're just standing in line, like you're trying to just you're trying to get to where you're going, but it's not about that. It slows down on purpose. There's a reason behind that. you know I always think, like, I get like, I'm late for work, and what do? I'm trying to rush there. Like, okay, calm down, you're gonna get there. And then all of a sudden, like, there's an accident. And I always think, like, man, if I would have rushed as I was rushing, maybe that would have been me. It's okay to
Mm-hmm.
slow down, it's okay to look around, it's okay to stop and smell the roses. You never know a little opportunity or big opportunity you're gonna miss out on. But I agree with you, Gil. Like, there's those times where you definitely just appreciate things that you never noticed before, and that's the beauty of life.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. I love that.
Yeah. So for me, it was driving down from Alaska, and I had so many moments like you were just describing. Because I wouldn't stop for nearly anything. It would be like 16-hour days of just being on the road,
Mm-hmm.
and I would sit there, and there was times where I would see the sun come up and everything like that. And mind you, I came down from Alaska when there was still snow on the ground, You know, it was still cold. It was February, you know, and everything was still like covered in snow. So getting up in the morning and then hitting the road that early and then seeing the sunrise and all that stuff like that, like just it was something blissful about it. Like seeing everything from a different perspective. And I'm not crazy about the cold, but I would prefer being cooler than I would be warmer, right? That's just the type of person that I am. But seeing those temperatures and stuff like that and experiencing that stuff, I wouldn't trade it for the world, because at the end of the day, it's the way the sun reflected off the snow, you know, whenever it rose and everything like that. So on my left, I had, you know, this frozen lake, and on my right, I had this big old mountain, like just freaking snow capped, you know. And I thought that was like the most beautiful thing in the world. And then like driving down, you'll see like all the bears, you'll see, you know, the moose, you'll see all these animals and stuff like that. I even got pictures of buffalo. I think I sent you guys pictures of
Yep.
buffalo just sitting in the freaking middle of the road.
Mhm.
Those were some of the moments that allowed me to slow down and, you know, kind of just take in what life was really about, right? And it's just an impactful moment for me, because I see it as like, all right, I could be anywhere else in the world. I could have flown from Alaska down to Texas, and I would have missed all of this.
Mm-hmm.
Like I wouldn't have seen any of it, you know. Even the hiccups I had at the border, you know, the Canadian border, like those, even those moments right there, I was just in awe, because it was an experience that I never got to see before, and not many people get to see it, you know.
Yeah.
So I sit there and I enjoy those moments. And much to like what you said, Christina, about the shopping incidents and stuff like that. So just to put things in perspective for a lot of people, for a lot of the listeners, have you ever been in line and then so stressed out because the person in front of you is just taking forever? You just want to get done. You want to get moving and everything like that. You're rushing. You're trying to speed up the process. So you're jumping from line to line, trying to find the shortest line, trying to get out. Then you get home. You get to wherever it is that you wanted to get to, and you're the only one there. If you're not the only one there, you're still waiting on somebody else to do something. You know, like at the end of the day, those moments allow you to slow down for that very reason.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's not just you that's being held up. You know, those are the moments where you need to take in a little bit of patience and understand that this is not happening to you, it's happening for you. And you're going to get to that destination at the time that you need to get there. If you get there too early, you're going to miss the opportunities that come with being on time.
Mm-hmm. I think that's the key there. I think so many times we're so hyper focused on where we want to be, and this could be anything in life, you know, not just a physical destination, but it can also just be your goals, dreams, and aspirations, right? We strive for greatness, but we forget the good in between that takes us to the greatness. And I think it's so important to just stop, smell the roses, as CMA always preaches, and appreciate the good in the moment. I think that happened to me very similar to what you were saying, the um at the Grand Canyon. So here's a little story time, right? Oh.
You
So
guys got 45 minutes?
so me and my wife, we went to Vegas one year, right? And we decided to take a trip to the Grand Canyon, right? And it was the West Rim, and they have like these 3 points. It's Eagle Point, forgot the other one, but there's like three little points, and you can see the Grand Canyon from those three different perspectives. So we get to this one part, and there's this big like mountain is area. Now, I don't know if anybody has ever been to the Grand Canyon. I don't know if any of y'all have ever done it, but that thing is freaking high. It is scary. And there are people who will literally sit at the edge of the damn canyon with their feet dangling. At one point, I literally am like crawling to the edge because I want to say I got to the edge, but I felt my feet like literally like turn to jelly. I've never had that experience in my life, and like like when you're so afraid, like you start to tear. Like that. That's how afraid I was, and I
What?
was
I'm
maybe
about to give you so much shit.
I was literally like maybe 20 feet from the edge. So, anyways, I see this little area, right, that everybody's climbing. It's like this little mountaintop area, and I said, "Oh, cool! I want to go up to that top of the mountain, and I want to get to the very top, and I want to scream, 'I'm the king of the world.'"
With tears in your eyes.
With tears in my eyes. So here's the thing. I, I
Um,
I decide to go to the Grand Canyon on like the windiest day ever.
uh, fucking King
So
Joffrey over here.
yeah, so here's the thing. So I start climbing this damn mountain, right? My wife's like, listen, you're on your own. If you die, that is on you. Like I'll hear about it in the news, but I'm sticking my ass over here. So I start climbing this thing by myself, right? And I'm going, and like it starts to get more and more narrow as you climb up, right? And people have to like kind of like scoot on around you, and I'm going super slow. And so at one point I'm like, all right, let's see how far I've got. And I look to the side. I was maybe 5 feet from the edge or something. Like I was like close. And all of a sudden, like it just hit like the pit of my stomach. I'm like, I just collapsed on the ground. Like I just like when you just melt into the earth, just melted down to the ground. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so high up here. Like it was so freaking scary. And then these people are like walking up, like no problem. There's one couple, like I said, it was like the windiest day ever. They're taking a selfie at the edge, and a gust of wind like blows, and they start shaking, and I just freak out, and I just yell at them, no, 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 don't do that, don't die.
Oh my God.
They looked at me like I was crazy, so they left, right? And I'm just trying to catch my breath, but at that point I closed my eyes. I'm like, all right, we could do this, mind you, I'm at the foot of the damn mountain, right? I said, I'm gonna get to the top of the mountain, I'm gonna scream, I'm the king of the world. And I open my eyes, right? And then I see the valley. You can see the entire damn valley. And you're so high up that it looks like it doesn't even look real. It looks like it's a painting. And I just like took a deep breath at that moment. I'm like, wow, God, you're good. Like this is like nobody can make this. Like this is just amazing. And like I just fell in love with the moment. And it was just a moment of appreciation that I probably would not have appreciated had I not got so scared and melted into the earth and gotten to the top of my destination. Mind you, I never made it to the top because I was like, this ain't worth it. But I stood there for about 10 minutes. And I swear to God, that 10 minutes maybe felt like an hour. Everything just like slowed down, and it was just like you could feel power. Like I don't know if you've ever experienced something like that, but you look at the earth at that altitude, and you just feel power. Like there's just something amazing about what you're looking at, and I just appreciated it. And I just said at that moment, I was like, I don't care about what's at the top. This is what I'm here for. And I think about how much we rush to it, and we forget about those picturesque moments that are right there. And I remember when I did this drive last year, and my dad said, oh yeah, I can't wait to go on the drive, I can't wait to see all the scenery. I'm like, there's no scenery, sir. It's just one 17-hour boring ride. And then I'm here now driving and seeing this morning dew and appreciating morning dew. There's nothing to morning dew, but I'm appreciating it.
Mhm.
And I get and it comes into my mind that like I get to do this. I get to wake up. I get to make this drive. I get to create this life that I've always wanted. And it doesn't matter how long I get there, whether I get to the top of the mountain and scream I'm the king of the world, or get to my destination on time. It's about that morning dew. It's about the picturesque moments. And I think about it in reference to goals, dreams, and aspirations. If anybody's not familiar with John Maxwell, he is one of the probably all-time best speakers in the world. I probably put him up among the top 5. And he was talking about how he transitioned from a goal mindset to a growth mindset. And he said something that was very powerful. He said, he was always constantly focused on his goals and trying to get to where he wants to be. He said, and it was always, when am I going to get there? When am I going to get there? And the more he invested into his life and the more he began to live in the present, he stopped asking that question, when am I going to get there? In fact, what he did was he changed his question and he said, how far can I go?
I love that. I love that we do what we do. We can share our experiences and our stories, because I think we all can relate one way or another. I think that we get tested throughout our whole lives, and I've been through some stuff. Like, in my life, I've been through so many things, up and down again. But because of all of the stuff that kept knocking me down and all the times that I felt hopeless and I still made it through, gives me that motivation to keep going. Like, there's nothing stopping me. I am fearless because I know that I'm strong and I know that I can get through it. Not every day am I a positive Polly. And, I do seek help sometimes from, family and friends and, you guys especially, because when emotions come out, it's usually when we're overwhelmed, we're tired, and we just need that extra little boost to keep us going. But because I've been through so much, I feel like, you know what, bring it on. What's the worst that could happen? I'm going to keep going. There's not anything that I can't do. And that's what I think of. I just keep pushing through, because it's when I push through those scary times and I get uncomfortable. Once I get over that hump, it's like entering like Willy Wonka's chocolate factory. It's just, wow, like, all right, this feels nice, So I love that. I love that, like I said, we share stories because we can relate to each other, and people can hear, things that we go through. Maybe they can relate to that too.
I think it's so important that people realize that I think so many people put their goals, dreams, and aspirations at the forefront of their life. And we often think, all right, when I get to this point, everything else will be better. And we often forget that there is something beyond the point of that destination. And I think when we begin to learn, and we talked about this so many times, when we begin to learn how to appreciate the moments as they come, because it's not about the destination. Because you get to the destination, it's like you said, you're lonely at the end, and it's like, why did I rush it to begin with? Why did I put in all this work for this feeling? But we forget the little moments along the way that made it worth it. That little struggle, that even the pain, the pleasure, it all kind of just culminates together as something that is that makes the entire process worth it. But when you see the destination, there's a common saying that the man who enjoys walking will walk further than the man who's walking for the destination. And I think about that in this as a prime example for what we have here is the difference between surviving and thriving. See, you're not just here to